Alright, let's just get right into it. We were all wrong about the Denver Nuggets. Now, you're wondering, how were we wrong? But let me explain. In the regular season, the Nuggets throughout the entire season were the first seed, or at worst the second seed. They finished the regular season as the first seed in the West with a record of 53-29, which was the fourth best record in the league. In the regular season, they averaged the 12th most points per game, averaging 115.8 points per game. They had the fifth best offensive rating, having an offensive rating of 117.6. They had the sixth best net rating, having a net rating of 3.4. Now, defensively is where me and a lot of people had questions about the Nuggets. While they allowed the 8th fewest opponents' points per game, allowing 112.5 opponents' points per game, they had an average defensive rating, having the 15th best defensive rating with a defensive rating of 114.2. Me and a lot of people questioned Nikolajolkic defense in the pick and roll, and could you win a championship with Jokic anchoring your defense? And the Nuggets proved that, yeah, you can. In the first round, they played the Timberwolves. They led for the entire game in every game besides game 4, where they lost. They ended up beating them in 5 games like everyone expected. Then in the second round, they played the Suns, where a lot of people, including me, picked the Suns to win that series because me and a lot of people thought the Suns could constantly kill Jokic in the pick and roll, leading to KD, Devin Booker, Chris Paul getting easy pull-up mid-range jumpers like Devin Booker and Chris Paul were able to when they played Jokic and the Nuggets in the 2021 playoffs. But that was wrong. The Nuggets beat the Suns in 6 games. The Nuggets forced KD to struggle. Even though he did average 29.5 points per game for the series, he only shot 45.3% from the field and 22.2% from deep on 4.5 attempts per game. The Suns only were able to win 2 games because Devin Booker went nuclear in the 2 games the Suns won, which was games 3 and 4. In those 2 games, Devin Booker averaged 41.5 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 10.5 assists per game, 2 steals per game, while shooting 79.1% from the field, 66.7% from deep on 6 attempts per game, and 87.5% from the line on 4 attempts per game. The Nuggets won every other game, and convincingly, with each of their wins being by 10 points or more, with the most convincing win being in Game 6 where they embarrassed the Suns. At halftime, they were up 30 points and ended up winning the game by 25 points. Then in the conference finals, they played the Lakers, where everyone thought it would go to 6 or 7 games, and me and some people thought the Lakers would win the series, but it didn't go like that. While every game in the series was close, the Nuggets won the series in 4 games, and in Game 4, the Nuggets fought off LeBron having 31 points at halftime, and at halftime they were down 15 points, being down 58-73, but in the second half they outscored the Lakers 55-38, and Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray stopped LeBron driving to the rim on the final possession to win them the game. Then in the NBA Finals, they played the Heat, who went on one of the best playoff runs ever, first beating Giannis and the Bucks. They had the best record in the league in the regular season and were the first seed in the East. The Heat beat them in 5 games. Then they played the 5th seed Knicks. They beat them in 6 games. Then in the conference finals, they beat the Celtics in 7 games. In the regular season, the Celtics had the second best record in the league and in the Eastern Conference. They were the favorites to win the NBA Finals at the start of the playoffs, and the Heat beat them, and the Heat went up 3-0 in the series. Going into the finals, no one doubted the Nuggets. Almost everyone picked them to beat the Heat. But a lot of people, including me, expected the series to go to 6 games, and some people thought it would go to 7 games. But the Nuggets won the series in 5 games, and every game they won besides Game 5 was in convincing fashion. For the playoffs, the Nuggets had the 6th most points per game, averaging 113.5 points per game. They had the best offensive rating with an offensive rating of 119.5. They had the best net rating by a mile, having a net rating of 8.7. They were an incredible defensive team in the playoffs. They allowed the 5th fewest opponents' points per game, allowing 105.2 opponents' points per game, and they had the 3rd best defensive rating, having a defensive rating of 110.8. Nikolajolkic had one of the best individual playoff runs we will ever see, averaging basically a 30-point triple-double while shooting 54.8% from the field, 46.1% from deep on 3.8 6.8 attempts per game, and 79.9% from the line on 7 attempts per game, which equals to a true shooting percentage of 63.1%. He also played good defensively. Jokic shut up all the bad narratives about him and proved why he's the best player in the league, or at worst the second best player behind Giannis. Jamalmurray averaged 26.1 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, 7.1 assists per game, shooting 47.3% from the field and 39.6% from deep on 7.5 attempts per game, and 92.6% from the line on 4.1 attempts per game, which equals to a true shooting percentage of 58.6%. Murray showed he is one of the best playoff performers in the league and that he's one of the best second options in the league and an underrated playmaker. Jokic and Murray showed in this playoff run why they are the best duo in the NBA. Aaron Gordon averaged 13.3 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 2.6 assists per game, while having a true shooting percentage of 58.8%. Being that Swiss Army knife that can guard small forwards to centers, be a good offensive connector, being able to be used as a screener, and then make the right passes in the short roll, cut great off ball, be a good lob threat. MPJ averaged 13.4 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game, shooting 35.1% from deep on 6.6 attempts per game, providing great shooting from deep in every series except for the finals, while being good defensively, which has been a question mark for him. He was good as a weak side rim protector, as a help defender, and while being very solid on the point of attack. Bruce Brown averaged 12 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 1.9 assists per game, 1.1 steals per game, while having a true shooting percentage of 63.3%, constantly hitting timely shots, doing a little bit of everything, and being the perfect glue guy that this Nuggets team needed. KCP averaged 10.6 points per game, shooting 38% from deep on 4.6 attempts per game, being a good point of attack defender, providing good shooting from deep in every series except for the finals, and veteran leadership. Jeff Green was solid, being able to play backup center minutes, bringing veteran leadership, and hitting timely shots when needed. Christian Brown was good. Even though his stats aren't that great, he provided very good minutes when he was given the opportunity. He always brought great energy, would be a good point of attack defender, and would always do the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet. I appreciate you watching the video. If you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. And I'll see y'all in the next video. More content on the way.